Texas by far. Our principles, our organizing principles, our core values are fellowship, leadership, integrity, diversity, and service. Those are the core values of Rotary. We're all about providing service, we're all about promoting integrity, and we're all about advancing world understanding, peace, and goodwill. That is Rotary in a picture. That's what all Rotary clubs aspire to do. Now, I want you to take out your cell phone, take a selfie, and post it wherever you post. Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn, whatever.
Everybody look up.
That side, now this side.
There you are.
Okay. Come on. No, okay.
It helps to get the word out with all of you doing that. I enjoy it when I run across your posts, liking them. It really extends our area a lot. Darren, go ahead and come on up. We have for the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance, Pam. Is she here? Pamela Walters?
She's here.
Okay, Pamela, could you come on up front then?
She's sitting right there. She was.
She was sitting.
There's Pamela.
Oh, here she is.
Come
We were
sing.
calling for you, Pamela. It's
Come
time to do
sing.
the national anthem and pledge.
Come sing.
I'm so sorry. I had to put on lipstick so y'all wouldn't think I was bare. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. If you will, all please stand and we'll say the pledge and sing the pledge of the whatever that was. A little flustered. Okay. Okay, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation of us fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streamed. Rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Good job. And if we'll remain standing for the prayer. Bow with me. Heavenly Father, as we enjoy our fellowship and grow our membership, may we be able to give more to many friends in Rotary and spread the ideals of Rotary and service to others in Tyler and around the world. Almighty God, make us aware of the deep of our meeting to develop friendships as the source of Rotary service. May we get inspiration from this meeting with our mayor, and that it will be helpful to us as individuals and as a club. May we always exemplify service above self to our communities and our families. And Lord, we look to you for true meaning and fulfillment of life, and stand by us in our commitment to Rotarian brothers and sisters. Bless all the former members of our Rotary Club who have moved on, and bless the memories of those who have passed on. We pray that each one caught something of the spirit of service, that they bloomed a little fuller and shined a little brighter because of our service experience. Even now, we ask you to bless all present members of our club, that each will show a little more, give a little more, and be a little more because of our service projects and informative programs. We're thankful for your spirit, the spirit that makes for better friendships, understanding, goodwill, and cooperation, the spirit that will focus our lives to be more peaceful and beneficial to all, and make us big as our problems and help us stay bigger than our responsibilities. God, help us to live up to our capabilities. May peace and goodwill abide among us this day and always. Thank you for our Rotary meeting. Thank you for everyone that puts something into it and everyone that gets something out of it. We ask your blessings on this meeting, Lord. Be with us today and always, strengthening our belief in the ultimate triumph of truth and right. This prayer we make in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. And you may be seated. Didn't know you were going to get a sermon, Allison. But I write and rewrite that. Y'all are lucky I shortened it. So anyway, let me wanted to introduce our guests, and if you would, if you have guests, I want to pass this microphone. Our part of our club that's important, Holly, Allison, everyone, is building goodwill and better friendships. So please say the names loudly and introduce your friends proudly. And I want to hand the microphone to you and let each table introduce. Do we have guests? And let the guests stand, please, with you. You have Mike.
Yeah, Clint Roxburgh, terrific TJC long-term board member, TJC alum, and partner with Henry Peters. Is that right, Clint? Yep. Welcome, Clint.
Thank you, Mike. DM.
Two guests here today. I'll ask them both to stand. The director of the Tyler Museum of Art, Chris Leahy, and the immediate past president of the Museum Board, Steve Wicks, who's a Tyler area banker. Join me in welcoming both of them.
Have either one of them gotten applications? I'm just asking. Steve Wicks? Steve Wicks. I'm right. Have you had an application to Rotary ever? So you were kicked out in Texarkana and now you can be one here. All right, we'll circle back with you, Steve Wicks. How about this table? Lisa, do y'all have any guests? Pamela, okay. Ramey, no friends? Okay, King Ramey. All right, anybody here? You do. Oh, why don't I hand that to you, Susan?
Hi, yes, this is my friend Trent Goodwin, and he is volunteering at Camp B. He's a Tyler guy too, so just kind of been back about a year. So never been to a Rotary meeting.
Okay. He needs an application for information.
Katie, I brought my friend and coworker Jennifer Moore. She works with me at UT Tyler.
Hey, Jennifer. Okay, and here, Leland.
I'm happy to have as my guest Jack Belko. Maybe you remember, he's the commander of the Civil Air Patrol. He spoke, a couple of meetings ago? We're also neighbors and become friends, serving on the homeowners association together.
Thank you, Jack. Welcome. And my friend and guest, Steve Garwacki. Steve and his wife Lindsay moved here from Cedar Creek a few years ago, and if you ask him what he does, he says golf. And what else do you do? Golf. So he's a golf buddy of my husband, Bob. And also he's the homeowner association president right now, doing great things at the Stretford at Cascade. So among other things, very involved, committed citizen. Wanted y'all to meet Steve Garwacki. LaRue.
Good morning. I have with me Janet Majors. Stand up. She's been here before, but we're working on her. We're trying to get her to fill out that application. Thank y'all.
Janet is a retired educator for many, many years in administration and all. She's probably been responsible for helping educate many of your children. So thank you, Janet, for being here. Oh, and we've got Austin.
And I was my guest today, a repeat guest, shall we go forth?
Michelle? You got anybody?
I did.
And I would like to introduce to you David Castro with Berkshire's Grocery Company. I had a lovely phone conversation with him last Thursday after our meeting, so I invited him to come this week. So be on your best behavior, guys.
I'm proud to have Don Warren. I've reached out to Don asking him to come speak, and I'm honored to have you as my guest, Don. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you, Rochelle.
Thank you, Dareth. As Paul Meiser's making his way up toward the front, our greeters for today were Donna Kroom, and they were Miss Carol. Thank you very much for that. Okay, all right. Bill, what's that? I have Donna. Here we go, Paul.
Thank you very much. Starting today, the 27th of October, 2004, after waiting since 1918, the Boston Red Sox won the World Series by beating the St. Louis Cardinals in 4. It broke the curse of the Bambino that became the superstition after the Red Sox sold Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees in 1919 in order to raise some money to finance a Broadway production of No, No, Nanette. And that moved back. On the 28th of October, 1962, Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev informed the United States that he would dismantle and withdraw nuclear missiles that had been placed in Cuba, bringing to an effective end a standoff that had put the U.S. and the Soviet Union on the very brink of nuclear war. On the 29th of October in 1929, the Dow Jones Industrial Average lost 30.57% of value in a single day, closing at 230.07. By July 8th of 1932, it would close at 41.22, having lost 89% of its value from its peak in 1929. A 30-year-old man who bought stock in June of 1929 would not see a full recovery in value in his remaining lifetime. On the 30th of October, 1534, Parliament passed the Supremacy Act, making King Henry VIII and the only supreme head on earth of the church. In the eye of Pope Paul III, it resulted in Henry's excommunication from the Catholic Church on December 17th, 1538, a little more than 4 years later. The act broke ties with the Rome, and language of the act operates to this day to the benefit of King Charles III. In another story related to the Catholic Church, 17 years earlier, 31st of October, 1517, his predecessor Clement VII and effectively launched the Protestant Reformation by taxing. Whether or not he actually tacked the document to the door is disputed. What's not disputed is that the 95 Theses brought out into the open theological disputes as well as disputes as to the fiscal management of the Roman Catholic Church, many of which rage on to this day. On the 1st of November, 1765, the Stamp Act, the first direct tax on the American colonies, was enacted by the English Parliament. Following vociferous outcry, it was repealed, but the damage was done. The Stamp Act effectively put in motion events that led to the American Revolution. And finally, on the 2nd of November, 1947, 75 years ago, Howard Hughes flew the Spruce Goose for approximately 1 mile at 70 feet in altitude in its only flight. It was made of laminated birch and remains the largest wingspan airplane ever to be built. A crew of 300 workers, all. Henry Winkler turns 77 on Sunday.
Hey.
And any fans of Fred?
Oh, yeah.
David Schwimmer, Ross, turns 56 on Wednesday, and that's this week in history.
Thank you, Paul. Pam, could you go ahead and come on up? You're next on deck.
You're right there. Hands next. All right. Our membership drive, folks, we have had 194 guests come to our club since we started this membership drive. That is just absolutely phenomenal.
Yes.
And it's such a delight. And several have asked, we've been running this thing, and some people with these cheese heads have run away with the program. And so what I'd like to propose, brains? Cheese heads. Just kind of run away with the points. And but anyway, the question has come up. We've done real well, and we have a number of potential members that are in the pipeline to be approved. And we had planned on carrying this all the way up through till the last meeting before Thanksgiving. And a few of our coaches have said, it's getting kind of difficult to do this and maintain everything else. And we've done such a good job so far. Do we want to continue? So I'm going to put it to you this way. Do we want to continue, or just kind of call it okay till now? And we'll just add the totals based on what we've done thus far and what's pending. What is your pleasure, Club?
I mean, I feel as far as we just want to get people in, but as far as the competition aspect, I mean, she's blowing it out of the water, so there's no catching up, So it's up to everyone. I mean, I'm good with.
Okay, just making it real simple. Why don't we just see what the totals are, and we will still make our presentations on the gifting at our Christmas event, okay? So including today, and then those pending that'll be coming before our board for approval, and then we'll be able to write an article. We do want to write a nice article and have some pictures made of the campaign for our district newsletter. So you'll be getting more about that in the days ahead. So you've done well, gang. Good job. Pam?
Thank you. I'm Pamela Walters, and I have the honor of being the foundation chairman this year. And at this moment, it's really my honor to present some money to very worthwhile organizations that we support. And it's really just part of what Rotary is all about. So it's as fun as this club seems to be today at lunch. It's always a great gathering of people that really love and care about each other. But mostly we come together because we want to give the world and people that aren't as fortunate as us a better place to live and have clean drinking water and have support. And it's a joy that we can do this. And so if you've ever felt in your heart that you wanted to give back, this is a great place to be, because we do try to diversify and take care of our community and also people around the world. So anyway, Paul Glasser, will you come forward?
Okay.
Did he leave? David Nichols. And then Chris and Christy Hill. Is Paul going to be back? Okay. It's really a tremendous honor and fills my heart today to be able to present money to these people. I'm sure you all know Dr. David Nichols, who has given and given and given. And however much we can contribute to Bethesda, it's never as much as he has contributed, not just to Bethesda, but to our whole community. So David, on behalf of our foundation and this Rotary, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And two dear people that you can't help but love. Your hearts would be filled just to know what they have done for the really sad situation in Ukraine. And I can hardly watch the news anymore because it's so heartbreaking. And to live in a beautiful place like East Texas and know freedom as we do, and go home to my home and know that I can live and do as I please and not worry about my children being raped and tortured and the horrible fear and terror that's in their hearts. But these two people do what they can, and thank God we have them in our club, and we can help them some little bit. Chris and Christy, thank you. My dear friend Paul Gleiser, I'm sure you all listen to KTVB, right? How could you not? Paul does too much. He's very humble, and he doesn't brag, and he doesn't talk too much about himself, but he does a lot and has done a lot for this community for years. And we don't get to say thank you enough to people like Paul who work so diligently and do their jobs, but then also give back. But on behalf of our Rotary, Paul, thank you for all you do. Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Pam. Great job. Let's see here. I want to, under Rotary business, our fall social is tonight, the first point of our core values, friendship. It will be in the home of Mary and Henry Birch. And I think all of you that are going, we've already signed up and prepaid and all of that. Annual fall social with the Tyler Young Professionals Network is Thursday, November the 10th, coming up next month at Javi's. This will be a come and go, and you'll individually buy your own food and beverages. This is really one of our best events, and it helps us to mix and mingle with people who might be very open to looking at doing service to the community, to the world, in helping to up their own integrity by mixing and mingling with us. I really would invite you to come out and be a part of that. Holly needs your September volunteer hours. Please email them to her. You have her address by the correspondence she sends to you. And then we have our next week's program on November the 3rd will be Jennifer Dobbins. It will be a veterans POW story. So the next we have is to introduce our president-elect. She is a person who turns her can'ts, now by that I mean cannot, contracted. She turns her can'ts into cans and her dreams into plans. Holly, here we are with this too.
That's the first time we've been confused. That's the first.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Okay,
I don't think we look like
turning cans into cans and dreams into plans. Is that right? Okay. Hello, I want to welcome you again to the Rotary Club of Tyler. I'm Trudy Williams. I'm your president-elect, and to all the guests that are here, we want you to feel welcome. We want you to know we're happy that you're here, and we hope that you have such a good time today that you would like to make the decision to stay. This is a really fun job for me. I get to plan out all of our programs. I'm really passionate about programs, and I want to make this time fun for you. And I'm so excited that we have our very own mayor, Don Moran, here today. I got to talk to him a little bit at the table, but he answered none of my questions and told me that I would have to wait until his presentation. So I asked him, I certainly hope that you have allotted a good measure of time for question and answer afterwards, because everybody in this room wants to know what is going on with the new, and we call it the new Harvey Hall, but you know what? We got to drop that name at some point. So get ready for a great presentation. Don Moran is a native Tylerite. He graduated from Robert E. Lee High School and Texas Tech University and has been an oil and gas professional for the past 40 years. He is the owner of Lamoco, is that correct? Lamoco Incorporated, a small oil and gas asset management firm that he formed in 1994. Don served as the council member for District 4 for 3 consecutive terms before being elected as mayor. Don is currently serving in his 2nd term as mayor. He currently serves as a board member of the Hispanic Business Alliance. He is an auxiliary board member for the Souls College of Business at UT Tyler. He is also a community board member of the Nurse Family Partnership at UT Health. Don serves on the Behavioral Health Leadership Team, the Mayor's Homelessness and Poverty Roundtable, Catalyst 100, the Housing Council for East Texas Human Needs Network, and has been an advocate for the improvements being made at Bergfield Park. We may have some questions about that too. He is a member of the Tyler Economic Development Council and a member of the Rotary Club of South Tyler. He is married to Chelly and has 2 grown daughters and 7 grandchildren. Don and Chelly love to travel, cook, play golf, and are members of Green Acres Baptist Church. Let's extend a very warm welcome to our Mayor, Don Warren.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. Before I do the presentation about the city, I want to share just a quick story and a little presentation. About 2.5 months ago, I was approached by Mickey Slim with Tyler Sister Cities. And Mickey and I were talking about Ukraine and the war in Ukraine and the number of refugees that were going to one of our sister cities, Atlanta, and what can we do for Atlanta? And so we decided as sister cities and with the city of Tyler to promote a fundraiser to raise funds to send over to Poland. And so we got on the Zoom call with Mayor Wozniak in Atlanta, and we talked to him, and we had translators, and the conversation was fabulous. And they had taken in 3,000 refugees, and they needed help. So we as a community raised $30,000, actually $35,000. We've already wired $30,000 over to Atlanta. Well, while talking to Mayor Wozniak on the phone or on Zoom, his need is a friend indeed. And it doesn't matter if you're helping someone across the city or across the ocean. It was just something that it warmed my heart. So about 2 weeks ago, our delegation that we sent to Atlanta to go visit with them got back. Lane Lucky with KLTV and Mickey Slimp and 3 others went with the city. I was unable. They went and they met with the mayor and took gifts, and they gave us gifts. And one thing that they did that was really cool was they met with the Rotary people in Atlanta. And the Rotary folks over there, they're big. And what they do every day is they take a van of supplies to the border. It's about a 400-mile trip. And they drop supplies off, and they pick the refugees up and take them back to Atlanta. And it was just a great exchange of ideas, and maybe an exchange of Rotarians coming to Tyler and we sending Rotarians to Atlanta. But it was just a great experience for the delegation that went. So what I was asked to do was to bring you the banners from the Rotary Club of Atlanta and just present it to you guys. And they really do want to have future communications with not just your Rotary, but maybe South Tyler Rotary as well. They do. So anyway, I want to present this to your club. Okay, I got the presentation, but based on what I heard at my table, I do need to save some time for Q&A because I had a lot of questions. But you know, it's a thrill to be here, and you know, I guess the best way to start is how's the city of Tyler doing? There's somewhat of a recession, and you got inflation, and people want to know how's the city doing. And probably the best measuring stick is our sales tax. You know, property tax is something that stays stable, but 40% of our general fund is based on sales tax. And so you can watch that month after month and see if people are spending money or not. And believe it or not, year to date, we're up 10% over last year. Wow. Which is pretty amazing. Now, I will say that over the last 2 or 3 months, we've seen somewhat of a dip. Will that continue, or will we go up at Christmas time? You know, I don't know. But, you know, I'm thrilled that we have a resilient community, and people here love to shop and spend money. And so I hope that continues. We just did our new budget effective October the 1st. And kind of the theme of the budget is Tyler Transformed. And every mayor has a vision. And Barbara Bass had a vision, Martin Hines had a vision, Kevin Althoff, everybody had their own vision. And my vision is pretty much begins with law enforcement, firemen, and quality of life. And I'll get to quality of life a little bit more in a minute. But with the police and the fire, we support them. And, you hear about these communities that want to defund their police department. That is something that will never be discussed in the city of Tyler. Tyler ranks in the top 20 for the safest cities in the state. We went down to Orlando earlier in the year with Chief Toller and visited with this panel. The city of Tyler is part of CLEA. It's an accreditation process. And the city of Tyler, the police department continues to be accredited in CLEA. And I was there and honored, because only the top 4% of the police forces in the United States are part of this accreditation process. So when you think of your police department, you're in the top 4% of the country, which is pretty amazing. And people ask, why do we have such a good relationship? Why are the police so good? And the police get involved. We have church community events where we go to different churches, and people come out and visit with the police. They ask questions, and it's a very diverse group. We have a national night out every October where there's over 100 parties throughout the city of Tyler where the police go out and talk to all the residents. And we'll have turkey legs and sausages on the stick, and you're sick by the time you go home. but it's a great time. That we've done in our police department is Johnny Green, and I don't know however many of you know Johnny. I will say that Johnny, a couple of days ago, thought he had heartburn and ended up being a mild heart attack. And he went to the hospital and got 2 stents. He's going to be good. He's going to be fine. But Johnny became not our homeless police officer, because he's not homeless, but became our police officer that deals with the homeless. And Johnny Green is probably one of the most magnificent men I've ever met. And what he does is he goes to the tents and to the camps, and he really tries to get homeless people back reunited with their families. And if he's not successful with that, he tries to get them to go to Gateway to Hope or Highway 80 or Path or Salvation Army, but tries to connect people back to people that love them. September 1st of last year, we had the no camping ban passed. So what happens then? We have closed 8 camps, and you saw this when we met the other day. We've closed 8 camps in the city of Tyler. And a lot of people will think, that's great. We need to close the homeless camps. The problem with that is the homeless people have got to go somewhere. And if they choose not to go to Salvation Army or Highway 80 or Gateway to Hope, they go to the street. And so when you see, and we've had more reports recently about more people on the street downtown and other areas, because when they leave the tent cities, they mingle around, and it's a problem. We haven't figured out exactly what to do, but we've got to continue to do something. Now, we do a national count here locally every January. We go out and we count the homeless people. And we go to Highway 80, we go to Salvation Army, Path, and we go to the tent cities. And I do it every year. And the last 2 years, we were in the 330 range. Half of those are women and children. And this year, the number was down to 260. So the numbers have actually gone down, but still half of them are women and children. And we got off on this the other day, and maybe my personal viewpoint maybe not matter, but there's a homeless camp close to downtown. And when I went down there to do the homeless count, this man was there from the Enoch, I don't know how you pronounce it, Epic Times, a national magazine. He was here to really do a story about the homeless and really throw a negative spin on homelessness and crime and everything else. Well, I visited with him at length around all these homeless people, husbands, wives, kids, and totally changed his thought about Tyler, Texas and the homeless population. Just because you got homeless doesn't mean you've got to do this. And so by the time he left, he wrote one of the nicest, most flattering articles about the city of Tyler and has gotten a new 5-year lease on body cameras. And they get old and they lease on body cameras to where as they wear out, we get new ones that are upgraded each year because just technology changes. Another thing, which may sound kind of weird, is we have new 2-shot lasers. And you think, why is that a big deal? Well, the guns they have now, the taser guns, you get 1 shot. And if you miss the person on the first shot, you could be going hand-to-hand combat. And so with these 2-shot tasers, if you miss the first time, you got a second chance. The firefighters. We have 2 new firefighters, we got a new ladder truck, and 2 new fire engines. And once again, we try to keep, they can keep us safe. The police department, we have an ISO rating of 1. And I know that's just an acronym, but what that means is our fire department is the highest rated you can be in the United States of America. And what and what that means is based on response time, equipment, and water availability. And we do have a superb fire department. I'm going to shift here to infrastructure for a second. It's just going to be for a second because it's pretty boring. But you know, when you think of infrastructure, I mean, you got water, you got wastewater, you got streets, and you've got drainage. And 5 years ago, the city of Tyler got in trouble with the EPA and the TCEQ for some discharges of sewer. So we entered into a consent decree and agreed over 10 years that we would totally redo our sewer system. We are halfway through the process. It's going to cost a total of $250 million, but we are halfway through the process. We spend $5 million on streets, and the goal with the streets is we want to have a score of an 81. I know this sounds like a low B, but it is a low B. I didn't see many low B's in high school. So anyway, the goal is to have a score of an 81, and so we rate a few years. So whatever street you live on, it's rated and it's got a score of F, and the ones that are F get fixed first. So it doesn't matter who you are or anything like that. Your streets are maintained based on the score. This year we're going to spend $5.6 million on drainage. And once again, this is the first time we've ever spent this kind of money on drainage. But what's happened with all the new development in Tyler and all the new houses is you got more concrete. Yep. And with the more concrete, you've got areas that don't drain. Mm-hmm. And so we've done this huge study and we've added 10 projects onto the half-cent sales tax program to repair the streets, or that $5.6 million. Another thing that I'm excited about is our brick streets. And we have not spent any money on brick streets in the past. And so last year we spent $250,000 on brick streets. This year we'll spend $600,000, which once again doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it's a start. And when you have people that come here from out of town, I mean, that's part of our culture and heritage and history, and people love our brick streets. So we are spending money on those. Also, for the first time, we're allocating money for abandoned buildings that are not safe. And we're going to tear them down. And the main example is the Tyson House on Irwin. And I don't know if y'all know where the Tyson House is. I think it used to be an apartment building years ago, but the building's been vacant for years. And not long ago, there was a fire. And so the fire department went and they went inside and it was full of homeless people. And so they're trying to put out the fire. There's smoke everywhere. You can't see anything. And there was a hole in the floor. So these guys are on one of the upper floors, not being able to see where they are. 2 firemen fell through the hole in the floor and went all the way to the basement. Well, in the basement, it was full of water from putting out the fire, and also because that's where the homeless people go to the bathroom. So fortunately, the firemen had all their gear on, and so when they went underwater, they didn't ingest anything. But it made us really realize when you have a building like that in the community, you can't let it stay. So we've allocated funds, and it has been red tagged, and we're trying to determine how much it's going to cost to tear it down. There's also the hotel out on what we call the Four Corners, the OEO, and what's happened there is the owners there have left the doors open. And so the homeless people are going into this hotel, and that's where they're staying. And it's just not safe. And so we've red tagged that hotel. And we've red tagged a couple of residential houses because it's time. This is not just about making your city more beautiful. It's about protecting people it's about protecting people. Traffic, people love the traffic in Tyler. But you gotta look on the positive side. When you have a lot of traffic, it means you have a bustling economy. My cup's always half full. And you know, if you have no traffic, you know what that means. That means nobody's out doing anything, nobody's shopping or anything. And just so you'll know, we're spending $12.7 million over 10 years to improve the traffic. And just a little fact, on South Broadway, if you're going north or south, it doesn't matter. There's actually a 30% reduction in wait time based on what work's already been done on Broadway. So I'm saying, have I seen some people going like this? That's what I'm talking about. So they're going to go from South Broadway over to Front Street. There's a couple of lights by my house they're going to retime. There's no coincidence there. But there's just areas of town that need to have more work done. So we're continuing to work on the lights. Parks, Burkeville Park was mentioned a minute ago, and we just finished the final phase of Burkeville Park. And just a quick story. Am I doing good on time?
Yeah, you got about 10 minutes.
Okay, well, I'm all good. The Burkeville Park in 2011, I was approached by Larry Lott, who had a business in Burkeville Center. He goes, everybody's moving out to Fresh, and we need to do something with Burkeville Park. And he asked me, he goes, will you spearhead and redo Burkeville Park? And I said, sure. 2011, I wasn't doing much. And so I said, I'll take it on. So I've developed a small group and we raised some money to do a master plan. And I went to Martin Hines at the time, who was the mayor, and I said, Martin, if I raise half the money privately, will the city match it? And Martin said, sure, thinking that I would never raise half the money. So over the course of less than a year, I'd raised $1.3 million and went to Martin and said, I need $1.3 million. So the city matched it. And so over the years, you've seen the new playground, the new amphitheater, splash pad, and now the new tennis courts. So we actually have completed that master plan. And one of my things has always been, don't spend the money on the master plan unless you want to implement it. So make sure your master plan is something that's achievable and not just a dream or just a vision. So now we're going to spend more money on Lindsay Park, Pollard Park, P.T. Cole Park, and Winters Park. And the thing that's so funny is Burkeville Park, when we did that, starting actually in 2014, that was the first money that was put into a park in years. So ever since then, from 2014 to now, we have spent over $10 million on parks. And we finished most of the parks in February of 2020. So we all know what happened in March of 2020 when everybody had to stay at home. What did people go do? They went and played at the parks. And there were parks all over town that people were able to go and have fun at. Legacy Trail. I don't know if y'all use Legacy Trail or not, but it's a fabulous addition to our community. Well, we've just received a grant from TxDOT, and we're going to be extending the Legacy Trail from, actually, it's Stewart Park on 155 up close to the new W.T. Brookshire Conference Center, which we're going to talk about in a minute. We can get it all the way up to the railroad tracks. Dealing with the railroad is not the easiest thing in the world to do. So right now we're going to the railroad tracks. So it's going to be a great new addition to the Legacy Trails. W.T. Brookshire Conference Center. We plan on opening it up in March of this next year. And people in Tyler, not everybody, but I've heard a lot of feedback on why would you build a new conference center, the W.T. Brookshire Conference Center? Thank you, Brookshires. But why would you build a new conference center that's smaller than what you've got? And I say, it's not smaller than what we got. Well, it seats less than what Harvey Hall said. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. So we've gone back and forth. I see people on Facebook. I'm not going to debate it on Facebook. And so I've been sending people drawings of the floor plan to try to dispel the rumors of how many people it holds. So I'm here to tell you, drum roll. Okay, the new W.T. Brookshire Conference Center, the main hall itself will seat 1,300 people. We have walls that actually raise in the back, so at full capacity, it'll seat over 1,600 people. So when you hear the number 500 or 800, they've never looked at the plans. So thank you all for spreading the correct rumor. The one thing I'm really excited about in Tyler is what I would call the east-west corridor. And people go, what's that? Well, I think about UT Tyler, TJC, the new medical school, downtown, the W.T. Brookshire Conference Center. And what I see is a rejuvenation, and there's people that are wanting to spend money from this east to west corridor. People are actually spending money and are excited about it. Downtown, we are preparing we're going to get council approval. This is one of my visions. But to spend over $5 million on downtown. This is after a study we had done from tool design. And I don't know how many of y'all have gone to Sulphur Springs, but we had them do a design in Tyler that's similar to Sulphur Springs. And it creates more walkability. We widen the sidewalks where restaurants can feed people out on the sidewalks. We narrow down the streets. You put in trees, you put in lighting, and you just make downtown more walkable, safer, and for people who want to come. And if any of y'all gone to downtown recently, any night, it's booming. So it's great. People the loft living, Sam Scarborough built over 100 units across from the city hall. Finished them in July. Do y'all have any idea how full they are? 100% occupied since July. Woo! And the studies actually say that downtown has room for another 1,000 lofts, apartments, or whatever. And so people are actually, we've got a lot of projects we're working on with different investors for more loft living downtown, more restaurants downtown, a food court downtown. We've had a serious interest from someone for a nice hotel downtown. So what I'm saying is just this energy that's going downtown, and people say, what drives the energy? And I say, I think it's the young people, because that's what you're seeing, the young people downtown that are eating the Andy's custard and spending time in the plaza lobby. But I think it's the young people that drive the vision down there, plus me. I'm not young, but you're standing up. It makes my time. But I love seeing what's going on. And the last thing I'm going to talk about, just real quick, is and Holly saw this as well at a meeting on Tuesday. We just started the Bring Your Baby to Work program, and it is the most fabulous program. Once you have your baby and you do your maternity leave, you come back and you can spend 6 months with your baby at work. And people go, that's nuts. It has been the biggest morale booster. It's big for employee retention, And everybody in the office loves sharing their baby with their coworkers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I would, but I think it's a great program, and anything that makes employees want to come to work and enjoy their job, I'm all for it. So that concludes, do I have time for questions?
Sure.
Okay, any questions, Ms. Dareth?
Yes. I understand that our largest economic tourism, boost is from East Texas State Fair. And we know that for the area, even Smith County and beyond. But I understand also that there's a contract through 2026 with the East Texas State Fair that the city has honored. So that at least in 4 years, they get to develop the infrastructure out there on the new 200 acres that they have purchased. And so that it'll be exciting. There could be arenas, there could be a park, there could be everything out there, and a hotel and all that beyond. But they have no roads, they have no water, no sewer, no anything. So they're gonna need those 4 years to develop that whole exciting area on that side of town. So as the fair moves, but I've also heard that there's some conflicting, I can address this, conflicting information about that they're being kicked out, that they're not being allowed to stay there because of the Rotary building and all the plans, the master plans. Can you shed some light on how the city is going to be working to facilitate those next 4 years of allow the fair to develop?
That's a big question to cram into 4 minutes. But I'll do it. Okay, let me first say that we have talked to the fair extensively. I have talked to the fair for a year regarding the contract that goes through 2026. And we have offered the fair a considerable amount of money to move earlier than 2026 to go towards the infrastructure at their new complex. So far, it hadn't happened, but we continue to negotiate. But we did offer a certain amount of money for them to move earlier because we would like to, for the fair. We have offered a buyout, yes. It has not been accepted, but the buyout's there for only so long. And at some point in time, it'll be off the table. But we are working with the fair and you know, in the Brookshire Conference Center, it is something where we've got to have more parking. And so, and we got phase 2, phase 3. We're about to spend $4 million on the Mayfair building. So, you know, it's just, we've got plans. We know the fair has plans with their new complex on 31 and 64. So we're just trying to kind of speed things up. Okay, I think I'm out of time. Okay, thank y'all very much.
The mayor will stay for a few minutes afterwards to answer questions that couldn't be done here. And Mayor, we have a certificate for you stating that we're giving a donation to the Literary Council in your honor for speaking with us today. Woo! Okay, very quickly, I'd like to ask DM Edwards, please. Probably most of you know, Smith County resident. He has been twice past president of the Rotary Club here in Tyler. He's someone upon whom I stand upon his shoulders. He's also pretty much a walking encyclopedia about anything that has to do with Tyler area or Smith County. I am stunned at the breadth of his knowledge. Any organization that DM's a part of is a happy organization. DM happens to be one of the most generous people I have ever met in my life by far. I know he has served on the trustees of many different institutions, not only here in Tyler, but statewide as well. And DM, I just want to say to you as president this year, I'm deeply appreciative of your presence with us and your past leadership and hopefully continued leadership of the Rotary Club of Tyler. Okay, we're getting ready to do the ace of diamonds and JB3, what is our total?
We have $731 and 45 cards.
Okay, and the mayor will select a prospective ticket. If you win the ace of diamonds, half's for you, half's for the club. If it's a guest, a quarter goes to you, a quarter goes to your sponsor, and the rest to the club.
All right, it's 669.
669, who's got it?
Rebecca.
You got by 5 at once.
One of those.
Oh, man. Well, better luck next time. Okay, let us stand and repeat together the four-way test of the things we think, speak, and do. First.
Is it the truth?
Second.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Third.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
We are adjourned.